We're now going to discuss the warehouse picking options, what's available within Vision Flex. I'm going to just select the warehouse picking. We have three options when we go in: picking, confirmation of picking, and confirmation where e-fulfillment is involved. There's a slightly different screen for e-fulfillment, the idea being that when you're doing that part of the process, instead of just confirming, you might be printing additional paperwork that needs to go inside the cases, special messages that are going in wishing people happy birthday, Merry Christmas, additional tasting notes. It can also be labelled up for parcel carriers as well at this point. So there is a slight difference between normal confirmation and e-fulfillment. E-fulfillment also allows you to record additional pieces of information such as cases used, inserts added, dividers used, anything like that can be put on to the e-fulfillment. And obviously if there was a charge going back to the customer, that's impossible as well. We are going to now click the picking option, and when I go into picking, I have the two options here. I can either do a bulk pick or a single pick, and you can see here the picking vehicle that I'm using is the fork truck, so the forklift, which I selected in the configuration options earlier on. So I'm going to do a single pick. Now there are four options here for a single pick. I can simply hit one of the three options here where I'm going to get the next delivery, and the delivery is classified as something that you'll be delivering. The next order, which doesn't matter whether it's a delivery or collection, or the next collection, which is the next time when you're expecting a vehicle to come in to pick up goods. Or you can be very specific and put in the order ID. If you put the order ID, you can pick a specific order. In this example, I'm just going to pick next order, and it will load the next order onto the screen. At this point, you're given an overview of what you're going to pick, how many cases, how many kilograms, how many singles. You can view more details by hitting the view button at the top, and it will give you information on items that you're picking on this order. And there are some options on how you want to start picking. You can pick by location, and if you pick location, you can be very specific here, and you can pick the aisle that you want to start in. The aisles displayed in my option here are numbers. Now that's because I've set the warehouse to show me numbers rather than letters. You can simply have them as CA, AB, AA, 5C, whichever you want it to show, it will show that. What you can see here is that I've got aisle 5, 10, 20 and aisle 100. Now I know where these aisles are within the warehouse, and aisle 100 is in the sort of the case area, and aisle 5, 10 and 20 are all in the sort of bottle case, small case area. So I've split them between those two areas. Now I can specifically say I want to start any specific location. What you can also do with this is have Bluetooth beacons adding in, so that it will then take the Bluetooth beacon and start you with the nearest location, and then the next nearest, and the next nearest, and the next nearest. And you can do that within the system. It does take an awful lot of extra involvement in setup, but it is possible. You can also order this by product and do it by product or product group, and put everything into product groups, or into weight. Now the product group settings, this will then pick everything in the order of the product group setting that you set. So this may be that you pick certain types of product groups before other types of product groups. And the weight, the idea with this is you pick the heavy items first at the bottom, and then the lighter items at the top. So on this one, I'm going to use the location. I'm just going to pick that I'm going to start in aisle 5, and I'm going to continue, and then it will then tell me to go to aisle 5 and go to the specific location P5, B1. And when I go to that location, if I have a check digit, I would normally scan the check digit, and at this point it would then move me on and tell me that you're in the right location, and what you're now going to pick is this specific rotation. When you scan that rotation, it ensures that the check digits are on it, and then it will tell you the quantity that you've got to pick. So once I scan it and then move along, and it then tells me that I've got to pick two cases to pick. And at the bottom I can then confirm the quantity that I'm picking 2 cases, and moving on, say next. It then tells me what I've picked and how many should be remaining in that location. If I mark this as discrepancy noticed, it will send a message into Vim, which is the information manager system, which is an additional component to the warehouse management. But this is like a ticketing system where a ticket will be raised for this discrepancy. Final part on this screen, it then says, okay, how many labels do you want to print for this? 1, 2, these are just case labels. You hit print here, and then if you're ready, you can simply hit next, and it will say to you, okay, you're now going to go to this location, CRP1, which is in the condition reporting area of the system, and I'm going to aisle 20. And once I get to aisle 20, I can then scan in aisle 20, and it will move me from this screen to the next screen. And once I'm in this screen, I scan the rotation number and confirm the quantity that I'm going to pick, which is another 2 cases. And you can see here, I've said another 2 cases, but there's actually 2 cases and 5 bottles. And it's now saying, do you want to continue? I'm going to say no, and go back and say, okay, I did pick the correct quantity, 2 and 5. It then moves on saying this is how many should be remaining. I can mark discrepancy noticed if I need to, and how many labels do I want, and then on to the next one, which is telling me the next location to go and pick goods at. So I can continue to do this all the way to the end of the order. So do the next line and then confirm this. Move on to how many I've got to pick here. So this is 5 single bottles, and next, and next. And this one exactly the same idea, running through the same things again. And at this point, it gives me the option of going back or finishing. So I can at this point finish the pick. At this point it's ready, we've picked the items, they're all part of an order, they're all together. We haven't at this point confirmed pick. In many warehouses at this point, you either have the option that the confirmation of picking is done immediately on the order entry, or you can have another person do the confirmation. The confirmation is a fairly simple process. If you open the confirmation up, you'll see there's a number of different areas in the confirmation of various things that you can do. You can have other areas in the warehouse that are designed specifically for holding stock, and you can then look in that particular area and see information of what is in that area to then confirm pick it. So these can just be staging areas, or additionally you can use it for the bulk pick method. So you're doing a bulk pick confirmation, or in this case we're doing a single confirmation. So I'll go into single, I'll do view outstanding singles because I don't have anything to scan, so I'm actually just saying show me everything that's available. Normally you would go up, scan the label, it would come up with a pick and the pick information, and you can see here I've got the document reference, the pick ID, the total number of cases, and I can hit the confirm button here and it's confirmed that that correct number of cases has been picked. There's various different levels of how you want to do the pick confirmation here. This is a very simple, straightforward version where you're checking the number of cases that have been picked. If you wanted to drill into the order and see more information, that's possible as well. So now that I've confirmed picked, the goods are then waiting to be dispatched. And the dispatching process is not carried out in here. It's carried out either through the warehouse distribution system or through separate distribution or confirmation of collection areas within Flex.